Hey, I'm Thomas Mulready here from CoolCleveland.com. We're at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we're here with legend Hal Blaine, drummer, member of the Wrecking Crew, the first Sideman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hal, it's such a pleasure to be here with you in Cleveland.
Thanks, Tom. It's my pleasure. It really is a pleasure. It's so exciting for me to be here, and you know, I've thought about the Hall of Fame for so many years.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I actually never knew I'd ever get in them, you know, or be inducted. And then all of a sudden, bang, there I am. And here I am, and
gotta be a great feeling, though, huh?
you know what's just funny about how this the coincidence? Howard Kramer of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, his mother has a home not far from me in the desert.
Yeah, Palm Springs.
For me, it's Palm Desert, yeah. So everyone has been so nice. They're just wonderful people.
So,
just wonderful people.
How did that work? You played on something like, I don't know, 35,000 sessions or something, you're estimating?
You know, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm doing a discography right now, and I just passed the 4,000 mark, and I got about another 3,000 or 4,000 to go.
No kidding.
There's an awful lot of songs.
But that's a lot of music. I mean, day in and day out, were you doing like 2 sessions a day sometimes?
About 4 or 5.
4 or 5 sessions a day.
One day, 7.
7 sessions in one day.
But, you know, they're usually 3-hour sessions.
3-hour sessions.
But maybe there were 4 3-hour sessions.
Right.
And 3 1-hour jingles.
In between.
In between.
Did you have like a couple of drum sets? I'm a drummer. I know it's like setting up your drum. Did you have somebody setting up your drums in the next session waiting for you?
I had 12 sets.
12 different sets.
And I had a fella that is still with me today, Rick Fauché. And he has been taking care of my drums over 40 years now. He was my personal drum technician. And he really started drum techs, because after that, every drummer wanted to have it.
Right.
It's the only way that I could work
and
dovetail from one session to another, because he was always one set in front of me, one set behind me, setting up, tearing down.
How did that work? I mean, how did the session work? Did you come in and they had, here's the sheet music? Did you ever get a chance to look at it in advance? Did you have to sight read it on sight and just right away hit it?
We used to. I always wanted to hear the song first, what the lyric was about. It's sort of like method acting, and I had worked as an actor, and so I kind of wanted the method, or I should say the message of the song, that gave me the impetus to play whatever I played.
Right. And so you're listening to Dizzy by Tommy Roe or something, trying to get, what's the message here? I'm so dizzy, baby. Right?
Well, that's a different kind of a thing. That was a rhythm type thing. But, but you know, with when I work with Barbra Streisand, for example, or Frank Sinatra, these people have their own way of telling a story. I mean, what is a song? A song is a story. So I wanted to hear what the story was.
Right.
It's that simple.
That's great.
And that gave me whatever, you know, to play my drums.
So you played with Phil Spector and those fantastic songs from the early 60s. I'm hearing, now tell me if this is right or not, you also played Frank Sinatra, Strangers in the Night. Is it not the same drum beat on both of them?
That's right.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Is there a name for that particular beat?
No, that particular beat was sort of the start of a rock and roll classic beat.
Right.
That
everybody
did.
Let's do it together. It's boom, boom, boom,
bang,
boom, boom, boom.
You'll hear it tonight, because they're going to play a little montage of some of the songs that I worked on.
Right.
But when I did Strangers in the Night, the same thing. Strangers in the Night, boom, blah, 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 blah. So it worked many, many, many records.
Yeah.
Television shows, commercials, movies.
So what stands out, I mean, in your mind? You did so many. Did they just blur one into the other, another day at the office?
Exactly. We were talking about that today.
Yeah.
This young man was telling me that he grew up with the record Dizzy that you just mentioned.
Same with me. Probably one of the most influential. That drum beat is so powerful in that song.
And it's one of those things that I didn't say, well, let's see, if I do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. I learned very early on that to make a record happen needed a hook, a drum hook.
Right, right.
And I learned that every 8 bars, if you played a similar type hook beat,
a little riff,
it sunk in. Just like after you hear a song 3, 4, 5 times,
sure,
you kind of get to know the song. Public was the same way. They'd hear it 3, 4, 5. Whether they liked it, they bought it.
Right.
They didn't like it, they didn't buy it.
So you were called the Wrecking Crew because you kind of came along and changed everything before you. Is that where that came from?
The Wrecking Crew came from when we came along, Glenn Campbell and myself, Tommy Tedesco. We were doing demos. And, excuse me, take 2. We were doing demos. And rock and roll was just beginning to start. And there were producers who would say, we want to get a little bit of rock and roll in this movie or this TV show. And they would call us because nobody wanted to play rock and roll. All the old established people, they would say, that's junk, it's garbage. They were just too sophisticated to play any of that stuff.
No kidding. Wow.
They had no idea. But I will tell you, within months, they were calling us and saying, can we come by and see your session work sometimes?
Yeah, because you were getting hits. You were making hits.
Exactly. So all the old, I used to call them the blue blazers.
Oh, yeah.
The elderly gentlemen with the blue blazers and the nice neckties. They did all of the movies at 20th, and they worked with all the great composers. And they were the ones that were saying, these kids are going to wreck the business.
Yeah. Any advice for young musicians, young drummers like myself? Any last words of advice?
The only advice I give, I do clinics every now and then.
Sure.
Because I am completely retired. I worked on Spider-Man 2. That was my last thing, and I said, that's it, no more.
For you.
And what I tell kids when I do clinics is, put the drums away in the garage and get a piano and study keyboards, because you'll find that real music, be very lucky to get as a drummer, but a good pianist, a good keyboard player will always work. You will always write music. You'll always be the life of the party. I mean, we're all show-offs. And that's why we play the drums or whatever we play. And I think that I try to tell some of these kids, and I don't mean that to hurt the drum industry, but there are thousands upon thousands of drummers out there.
Right.
And you know, I came along at a time where maybe 2 or 3 of us were lucky enough.
Yeah.
Just like there are thousands of actors. I worked as an actor for years.
Right.
There's only 1 or 2 or 3 actors
that's right. Really make money.
In movies, you know.
Well, that's great advice. Well, thank you so much,
it's
Hal.
a pleasure.
It's been an honor to see you and meet with
I'll
you.
shake left-handed.
Thank you. We're here with Hal Blaine at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Cool Cleveland.
Have fun.
I don't know if your guess is as good as mine.